All right, welcome back to Open Line. Chuck Long here with lawyer Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm asking your legal questions. A lot of you calling tonight. We've got one last segment now. We're going to get to as many of those callers as we can during this last segment. So go right back to the lines right now. Edward is on the line with us. Edward, thanks for calling in this evening. What's your question for Kevin?
Yes, my question is, if someone plants cameras and was inside your house, is there any kind of way you can bring up legal charges against them?
Yeah, if someone put illegal cameras in your house, absolutely, that's an invasion of privacy. And there's criminal charges that can go against those guys. You know, they do that all the time. When they put one of these little cameras in a dressing room or a bathroom, they prosecute them. So, yeah, that's illegal. Can't do it. Don't do it. Don't be a part of it. Don't download it on your phone, because the police will come get your phone, and there you go. Thank you for the question, Edward. You're right on it.
Absolutely. We do appreciate you calling in, Edward. Right back to the phones. And Mabel, you are on Open Line. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I do. I have a question, and then I want to give you two examples. The broad question is, what, if anything, governs the enforceability of adhesion contracts? And just wanted to call your attention to a couple of things lately that I'm thinking, how are these legal? One involves AT&T. Their policy now is, they update their policies from time to time, and I read the fine print, which says basically that if you don't agree to arbitration, you are, in the event of a dispute with AT&T, you are no longer an AT&T customer. Now, that obviously is illegal, because they're not going to do something that outrageous if it isn't. They know better. And then with Morgan Stanley, their new policy is that if you are involved with them, if you have a disagreement and you go to arbitration with them, by the way, the AT&T thing is you give up. This may be obvious, but I didn't mention it. If you continue to be an AT&T customer, you give up your legal rights entirely. You must submit to arbitration, which doesn't seem right to me. Morgan Stanley, if you get into arbitration with them and you win, you have to give them 7% of what you win. Makes no sense to me.
Well, here's the real
you don't
world.
Like Morgan Stanley, you can go to Merrill Lynch. I understand that. AT&T is a little bit different. These are monopolies.
You have identified a real issue that affects lots and lots of people. Why do they want arbitration? Remember this for the public. The main course for me to sell right here is understand, anytime the big companies, the monopolies, try to keep you from going to court, they're taking your rights away. Arbitration, I don't like it. If we can determine that contract is unconscionable, we can try to make that part void. Is arbitration upheld? All the time it's upheld. So what we really need to do is get our legislature to try to have limits. If their actions are so egregious, arbitration shouldn't settle that. We should always never let a company, a contract, ever keep you from having a right to go to the courthouse. Because if you give up your rights, which they're all one side, everybody said, well, you agree to it. You can't get an insurance policy. You can't get a bank loan. You can't do financial without signing. That's what our system is. You recognize it, you identify it, and if it's unconscionable, don't get involved with them. There's always a bunch of problems, and there's a risk just living in America. But you did an excellent job picking that up. Thank you so much.
Very interesting. We appreciate that call, Mabel. I hope you have a good evening. All right, back to our lines right now. Damon, you are on Open Line. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
A question. I had a colonoscopy done in the hospital. And during the colonoscopy afterwards, the tube they put down my throat damaged. One of my tooth was handed back to me in a container. When I got home the next day, all my front teeth, who were mounted to posts, they broke off. What kind of, do I have any way I can?
Absolutely. My son. Okay. My son is a doctor and he's a surgeon. I say to him all the time, I said, well, what about this? He said, don't do the surgery unless you have to, because there's risk, and especially placing the tubes down the throat. What we'd have to prove is that they deviated from the standard of care in that community. And if they ruptured something when they put it in, then they are responsible. That's negligence. And that negligence allows you to bring a lawsuit. Now, remember this, they had you sign all these papers. You know, something could go wrong. We call that informed consent. It's attacked in the courts every day. A lot of people say, hey, you already agreed to this. All those are gray areas. We have to really prove egregiousness and the seriousness. If we shut the courthouse doors and say, hey, you have to go to arbitration on that, that's certainly not fair. So again, you have a right, but you're going to have to get a medical care provider, somebody who in that community who can say those guys deviated. Then you've got a claim, get an affidavit, and you can bring your claim. The insurance company will pop up and they say, how much money do you want? And we make our demand put together, and then we go to the negotiation tables at mediation and try to resolve it. That's the real world. You got a claim.
All right. Well, we do appreciate you calling in, Damon. And again, we appreciate all the callers that have been calling in this evening here on Open Line. Kevin, we've got about a minute and a half left. Kind of your parting words for this evening. I know we've had a wide range of questions and comments, but kind of where are your thoughts right now? What should people be watching out for right now?
Well, you always have to be extra sensitive with your life. Sarah, come over here one more time. This is Sarah, my assistant. Sarah's 20 years old. She's with me all the time. And I try to preach and teach to Sarah every day. She's here and helps do this Zoom because I don't want her or her family caught up in a bad situation. Sarah, how bad are the people when they come to the Kennedy Law Firm?
They're terrible. Some of the people have absolutely nowhere to go. People are ripping them off. They have nothing. So when they come to us, they're really looking for help, and we're always happy to help them.
You know, when we first started, I put on the front of this building, thank you, Sarah, that's sweet of you. We're committed to helping people, and that's through this program that we put together, Channel 5 and Chuck. Chuck is a baby lawyer. You and Sarah, I don't want to go up against y'all in court. Y'all are too slick. Y'all been trained. But I want us to always be aware of our circumstances. And you know, when you feel somebody, well, you said this, Mr. Kennedy, you said this, Chuck, the flags ought to go off, y'all, because they are taping you. They're trying to set you up. They're asking questions. And make no mistake about this. When the insurance company calls you and says, we're going to tape you for training purposes, the truth is they are taping you to use your own words against you. The biggest problem I have, everybody wants to be honest. We all want to be fair, but we're playing with people who are not fair and many times are not honest. So we try to hold them. Who was it? Reagan said, trust, but verify, Chuck. That's what I'm saying from Kevin Kennedy tonight. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Sarah. I can't wait to see who you're going to help in your life, Chuck. This program helps so many people. Thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely.
God bless you. If you need the Kennedy Law Firm, call us.
Anytime. And Kevin, my takeaway tonight, good fences make good neighbors. All right, Kevin, as always, we appreciate it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll tell you how to get a hold of the Kevin Kennedy Law Firm right after this.